And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Roadwarden. Before the invasion that took place one generation ago, the southern tribes were called barbarians and the southern realms were known as the Wastelands. Enter. Alright, so last we left off on Roadwarden. Our good boy, Jelp the Dunker, cousin to John the Baptist, and his trusty steed, Total Dingus. That's about it. That's all the significant events that we've done so far. Alright, so we are done here. So let's see. Step outside. Total Dingus is fighting off flies with his tail. Sounds coming from the armor's workshop. I think it is time that we do some traveling. Actually, let's step back. Let's see. Alright, we're healthy. Our appearance is not great. Nourishment. It's easier for you to overcome physical struggles. Armor is okay. Inventory. Let's see what supplies we have. We have 4 food rations and a healing potion. Cool. Alright, so I feel good enough to go ahead and travel. Ooh, wait. Let me check my inventory again. Let's see. Weapons. A simple battle axe. Okay, sure. Okay, we're good. Alright, let's do some traveling. We are not going to go to the right because that... Alright, nighttime shelter. Cool. Okay. Gotcha. Let's see what time of day it is. We have 12 hours before dusk. Yeah, let's go ahead and travel. I'll risk it. Alright, here we go. We're going to go further to the left. The road uphill meanders, slowing you down and forcing you to pay close attention, not only to the shadows of the trees, but also to the tight, rocky passages. You can't help but notice a few caves and fine ambush spots. I keep an eye out for any sign of life. Ooh, new location. Alright, new entry, the ruined village. Standing in front... Oh, how am I doing? Everything's so good, and we have 45... We've only been going 45 minutes. Oh, this game, there's so much here. Standing in front of the gate, you hear no voices, no tools at work, no steps. Dozens of birds live among the collapsed roofs. Okay, well that's at least comforting. At least the birds aren't terrified of anything. Their fluttering, singing, and squawking is free of worries. Good. If you want to travel any further, you need to ride around the palisade. Searching the ruins may take a lot of time. Okay. I'm really feeling... Let me pull up the music volume just a tiny bit. There we go. The broken gate at the north will lead you to the village. The sound of a gentle river reaches you from the east, where you see a saggy fence surrounding an overgrown pasture. Behind the burnt building in the east, you see an oddly barren field. Where to go first? First thing I want to do is I want to look at the village, so I'm going to go to the broken gate. Yeah, let's take a look at the gate. Journal update, the ruined village. Alright, the palisade is in good shape and the entrance wasn't even touched by fire. It was torn away, possibly thrown. The amount of used force must have been huge, but you'd expect it would push the gate into the village, not away from it. That's weird. You don't see any marks of a dragon bite. A troll could toss such planks, but after so many years, you see no paw prints. A mage? Can't really tell. I'm going to approach the building near the field. If I'm going to go towards the field anyways, I might as well move that way and see what's along the path. The broken logs and planks are charred, while the wooden walls are rotted and covered in moss. You see no ashes nor dust, proving that the fire happened long ago. The smell is awful, and there is no reason for you to stay long. You see no furniture, just some broken shelves. It was just a storage room. Valuable odds and ends were already taken by scavengers. I'm going to move forward. Alright, so are we going to explore the southwest part of the village, the fields in the southwest, or the pasture in the southeast? Let's look at the village in the southwest, and I don't see a reason really to inspect the pasture, so we're just going to move southwest towards the fields. Because we got daylight. We've only eaten up 15 minutes, but I want to check everything. The buildings, some of which have collapsed, are made from wood, now charred and rotten. You spot claw marks on the walls, especially close to the doors and window frames. They could belong to a dragonling or a large wolf. larger than the gray ones. Or a corpse eater. Too many options to make a guess. Yes, no beast remains in sight. I'm still doing good on food. Good on food. You find the remains of clothes, furnitures, odds and ends. Only one object seems to be of use, a basket-like fish trap made of vines and willow branches. If a large fish swims into it, it won't be able to get out on its own. It's quite large, but I can fit it on my saddle. Yes! Nice! Got a fish trap. Alright, you feel a slight aching in your stomach. Ooh. I'm nourished, so I wonder what that is. Where do I want to go? I can look at the palisade in the west. I can explore the northwest part of the village, main square. I'm not ready to go to the fields and pasture yet. Let's go to the main square first. Alright, in every village, the main square is the fanciest area meant to charm travelers. Yet, this is way more than you'd expect. The houses, the houses are as big as in Havlaven, and our paved ground took a lot of work and materials. The walls, now charred and riddled with holes, are made of an expensive coated wattle. The tiles from the roofs also had to be brought here from different settlement. You peek inside 3 smaller buildings, the rotting remains of the former splendor. The birds live in dozens of nests, responded around to your arrival with quite a commotion. You don't even find a single dragon bone, nor a tool, nor a piece of furniture left unbroken or unrotten. You're surrounded by bad smells, dirt, animal droppings, and garbage. The well also stinks. It has no bucket, but you'd be afraid to use it anyways. Who knows how many birds have relieved themselves inside, or how many old rats have found their death while climbing up the walls. Suddenly you hear some sounds coming from the largest building. Your stomach makes you let out a painful groan. What the heck? What is up with my gut? So I'm going to check it out and prepare my axe. Oh no, you step cautiously. Ooh. Oh, good lord. You step cautiously toward the scent of urine and sweat. The flickering candlelight shows you broken furniture, yet no signs of burnt wood. You consider pulling the other door when a masculine voice proves that your presence is not unnoticed. I didn't want it to come this. Best stay where you are. Whatever you put inside, be it a shoe, a hand, or your darn thinker, it'll get a bolt. Okay. We're gonna be friendly, and we're not gonna be playful. We're not gonna be that. Oof. Ooh, I'm worried. So how are we going to... We're not going to feel hopeless. I don't think we need to do that. Okay. What is my gut response? Okay, you know what? I'll spend too much time thinking about it. So I'll just go with my gut responses to this. So I'm going to hide emotions. Because I do not think he wants to be friendly. I'm going to hide emotions. I'm the new Roadwarden. Let's talk. Short pause. Well, we can talk, we can. But how's it that you chose this place to visit? From all that there are. He goes on before you respond. It may be you're telling the truth. So let's say this. My little ballista here is uphold and ready. But you won't do anything stupid, right? No running, jumping around. Show your hands. The man's voice lacks confidence, and his accent is tricky for you, and it's tricky for me too. You could be from the distant south, but as long as you don't speak too quickly, you understand one another. I love when authors do this, when they purposely write in horribly written like this in a way that forces you to use the accent. I tried to do that in a short story once, and it was a little scattered, but it's really fun to do. Alright, you don't hear any other movements, breathing voices. You lean your axe against the door frame and make sure that your knife is well hidden. Okay, good. Now walk inside. The dense smell of urine hits you with full force, while the tools and utensils are hard to distinguish from the rubbish. The route to the upper floor is blocked by the collapsed roof and loose wooden beams. There are scraps of rustling iron and steel on the ground, detached from the now destroyed barrels. The scavenger, okay, so this is his name now, he is the scavenger at the moment, is sitting on a blanket in front of the tent, pointing at the floor with his loaded crossbow. Not a short man, though a bit skinny. He has tanned, dark-haired, and seen his share of struggles. There are long claw scars on his left cheek and another one that would divide his eyebrow in half if it hadn't been consumed by a fire. Poor guy, he's been through a lot. Just like the rest of his forehead, his clothes are untainted by vanity. He's barefoot in a dirty linen shirt with rolled up sleeves and simple pants that use a cord for a belt. His long beard and hair are untrimmed and tangled. Alright, so am I going to sit on the stairs with raised hands? I'm not a threat. I stand near the door watching his weapon. Okay. No, I'm going to stand near the door watching his weapon because I don't trust him. I am going solely off of instinct what I would do in this situation. I am not only do I not want to spook him, but I'm also not trusting right now. So I'm going to stand near the door watching his weapon prepared. He follows your gaze. Not a good way to make the air warmer, eh? I try to be safe, that's all. And I can't let you stay in my shelter. You better ride ahead. I already piled up whatever hasn't rotten. Okay. The candlelights are dancing on his burnt face and arms. I saw your horse. Maybe you could help me. What are you looking for in this place? You don't sound like you're from the north. Okay. I want to make sure there's no undead crawling around. I need to know the peninsula if I'm going to patrol it. I want to make sure there's no undead walking around, definitely. I'm not going to tell him it's not his problem. I don't really feel a need for that. He's trusting me so far, so as long as he's going to be cooperative, I'll see if I can get some information from him. Okay, so I do want to ask about the old Roadwarden. I've heard about some bandits. They could have a hideout nearby. I do... Okay, so I already know that there's no dragon bones left behind. I might ask just so I can get more information, but I don't feel the need to know everything around here. So first I'm going to ask about the bandits. See if there's any bandits nearby. Nah, I think they're in the north or east. I stuck to the western road and no shell bothered me. Sorry I can't help you. Listen, he scratches his thighs nervously. I'm hungry, so darn hungry. I can't hunt or fish with all the ape men around. Okay, so there's ape men around. Good to know, good to know. Ape men around, so I need to be prepared for battle. That may have been what caused all this damage. Can you share anything, Roadster? I may be a drifter, but I wouldn't beg if I had not lost my bags on the road. A few prunes, a sausage, and some nuts should be enough for tomorrow as well. Take the cereals and crackers. I can either tell him I might have something later on. Okay. I'm not going to give him all of my rations. I might give him... Alright, so anything that... He'll know where the water is. He'll know where water is. Cereals and crackers with some water you'll have, gruel. Okay. I'm going to do that. Because it's not going to be... It puts work on him. It's not me being overly friendly. I've got enough rations. I think. Let me look at my inventory. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I gave away a food ration. Nice, only one. That was what I was intending. He lets out a relieved breath. Hi, I'm even boiling. After a moment of hesitation, he grabs a cracker. Without you, I would have run after the birds with my ballista. But we'll need to save the bolts for ape men. And because of those stinkers, I can't roast in here. Raw meat makes me want to puke. Thank you. After a couple of solid bites, he puts your gifts into wooden bowls. Now, Roadster. I love that he calls me Roadster. He says with a mouthful. If you have any questions, ask. I'll say a lot to make you... get me out of here. Okay. Let's see. I can ask him what he wants. Where does he want to travel to now? And what will you give me for help? This village makes me sick. Ooh. Yeah, I want to know why I'm sick. How to keep goblins away. Are you sure there are no undead around? He nods. I see none. People say it's been less than 10 years since the herds came here. But I don't know if anyone bothered raising the pyres. If not, the dead are roaming the forest now. He clicks his tongue with frustration. Maybe there's a walker somewhere under the debris, waiting to break through like a dragon in an egg. He looks straight at you. He'd better not go dig. Good to know. I'm gonna ask why the village is making me sick. The ruined village. Me too, in the guts and the thinker. It's easier with time if you're patient. Must be the air, the smell of death. Death and 8 men pee. Pats his stomach while laughing. So ask him what he wants. Where he wants to travel to, tell me about himself. I don't necessarily want to know a lot about him. Alright, now let's ask him about the other Roadwarden, Asterion. I've never met him, but surely heard this name many times. He vanished long before I got to the coast. At first people were asking about him. Now they think he's dead. Okay? Alright, I'm gonna ask what happened here. Well, I won't guess, but I saw many ruins. There's no treasure and skeletons here. Alright, so I don't need to ask about treasure. So this place means as much as dirt. Someone was barking too loud, so beasts broke through and made them quiet again. Clicks his tongue. That's it. Talking about nature's fury brings bad luck, don't you know? Alright. So so we know the answer to this. Goblins away. Yeah, let's ask about the goblins, and then I'll ask him where he wants to go. I've got a trick or two to keep me safe. A little something that scares him away, even without magic. But tell you what, his smile turned into a wide grin. Help me get out of here, and I'm going to share some of it with you. Well, let's ask where he wants to go. Okay, wow, that's a lot. Let me explain first, I was in Howler's Dell, so now I don't have to ask about him. The closest village to the east and the north. And people there are nice, you know. Not like the old Pygos. They're all boring and grimmer than a crow. But they cry for coin. They cry coin for everything. A darn good coin. I wanted to look around the ruins, see if there's anything left. Then move to Pelt and hire hunters to help me go here. No luck. Bunch of grifters jumping my pack bird. I just bought it. He spits on the floor. Fast and nimble, not brave enough to listen to me when all the screeching and scratching started. So it ran away with me bags. A few fell on the ground and I pulled them here, but you see how it is. I won't travel I won't travel around with a tent on my back. He taps the crossbow with his fingers. I need maybe a day or more, just a day, and I'll have all the iron scrapped from the barrels, so I can move forward. But I'll take all my stuff alone, and without my mule around, the 8 men aren't going to break in and steal all my stuff. I need to stay here, but since you have a horse, come back tomorrow and help me return to Howler's Dell. How about it? I just need to know if the road is safe as can be, I mean. I want to know what exactly you want me to do, because I don't trust you with my mule. I need to make sure there's no danger hiding on the road. From here to Howler's, or rather, I know there's some danger. But as long as you can get there and safely return, I'm sure we can handle some roaming monsters. He theatrically rubs his hands together. Okay, so he's not holding the crossbow at the moment. This ballista has hit more beast skulls than I have fingers, and I've never lost a finger. Roadster, only the toes. Maybe to prove it, he starts to count his fingers. So, see if the road is clear. Then come here tomorrow. We'll pack my stuff on your horse and move out. But don't come here when it's close to evening. We're going to need 3 hours on our feet, and I won't push through the night. Even sleeping next to an 8-man tribe is safer. He chuckles. And don't make me wait too long. I can wait for a couple of days if I find some food. But if you don't get back, I'll have to risk it no matter what. Yeah, let's find out why he's not traveled on his own. Why is he not traveling on his own to a safer place? I mean, I see your point. But I've never been there. Can they afford my iron? Do they have means to pay for it? I need coins to find a hardy bunch that will walk south with me. And I need a new staff and bolts. I know the village. It's a nice place. It even has a smithy of sorts. I had a chance to take a look, though. It's a large inn, a safe one. They seem to be rich and have enough hunters to guide you south. You can use the iron to barter. Yeah, let's do that instead, because I do not want him traveling with me. Alright, escort the scavenger. If I travel with him, then I at least want to go somewhere where they already know me. I don't want to get jumped. Well, it's a shorter path, I guess. Fewer spots to get surrounded by corpses. If he's sure it's the best option, fine. I'll trust the roadster's judgment. And I'll work for free, okay? Because I have no option. Always have to pay, don't worry. I'll give you dragons, but I have to sell the iron first. So I'll need a bit of time, you see. 5 for a short escort would be plenty, I'd say. That's fine. But if you want, I'll give you a secret jar of mine. A very fine mixture that scares 8 men away. Works on peddlers, too. When you ask if all the stench of urine is somehow related to this potion, he just winks and chuckles. Fine. You know what? Let's get him off my back, because I'm worried. Fine, it's a deal. I'll escort you. Thanks, Roadster. What's your name? Jelp? Aye, what's your horse's name? I'm better on my own. Thanks, just come tomorrow. I'll make it worth your time. Alright. So, I'm not going there. Let's see, we've got 11 hours before dusk. Let's see, if I search the entire village, tell me about yourself. It's time to leave. Okay, your stomach makes you let out a painful groan. Alright, I need to get out of the village. Let's go to the fields in the southwest. We're surrounded by what looks like a field plowed in late autumn, disturbed by hundreds of rains and snowfalls. There's a few clumps of grass and wheat. But a place like this one, abandoned for years, should already have turned itself into a green leaf. A barren field. Maybe it was overused, but you would still expect the weeds to sprout. Perhaps a curse. The path leading west from here ends at the edge of the field, shifting into a meadow, then a forest. In the north, you see a path leading around the palisade. I don't have a way to investigate. Okay, fine. The closer you are to the village, and the longer you stay around, the sicker you feel. The taste of gastric juices hits your mouth. Your forehead hurts, you start to stumble. Total Dingus, worried by the sight, pokes your head with his nose. I walk far away from the walls. Yeah, This has me really worried. I'm gonna walk far away from the walls, leaning on your mount. You go outside, keeping your mouth shut. After a few minutes, your eyes get clear. Maybe better to leave, or at least to stay away from the village for the rest of the day. Yep, I agree. Stop and touch your aching stomach. Where did you want to go? How am I doing, by the way? I'm still good. My appearance looks really rough. Okay. Ooh, yeah, let's look at my map real quick. Inventory. Where's my map? Not archive. The journal. Alright, explore the peninsula, a new life. Finding the old Roadwarden. Okay, alright, you know what? I don't know what's going on here, but that's okay. Let's look at the pasture in the southeast. Cool. You don't find a single sign of livestock that lived here in the past. Any bones, horns, antlers, or dung have already been devoured in the wilderness. The pasture ends at the river. On the opposite bank, the meadow turns into a thick forest impenetrable for a rider. What are the chances that a herd of defenseless animals could get there and survive? The breach in the southern fence wasn't made by some brute force. You find axe cuts in the spots that were ultimately broken away. After all these years, there's no tracks that you can follow. Let's return to the main road, and I guess we're going to look at the palisade in the west. The tracks of human footwear are many, many more ape footprints cover the path formed around the palisade breach. As far as you can tell, the freshest footprints lead to the village. The wooden stakes spread on the ground are rotten, covered in mushrooms, small flowers, insects, and worms. A good source of animal or goblin food, though you'd expect them to also hunt for the birds and eggs. The meadow in the west turns into a forest quickly. The grasses in the north surround dozens of tree stumps, already covered with moss and fungi. Going south, you'll reach a large field, though you don't see any crops. You shouldn't enter the forest, especially not in this area. It's unpredictable. Yep. Alright, let's look at the clearing in the west, then. Yeah, I'm not feeling good about this village at all. The meadow is lush and colorful, so dense it's unsafe for the rider. For a couple of minutes, you lead total dingus with a rope, avoiding the potential disaster in case of a hoof falling into an animal den. Being forced to travel around the palisade every time you get here is going to be a pain. Most of the tree trunks look similar and have comparable size. They were most likely planted with the sole purpose of being cut down and used by the locals. Though cutting so many trees at once, that alone could provoke the wrath of the herds. Such as a process should spread across a couple of seasons, and you can't be sure that was the case. In the west and north, the clearing turns into a wide forest. In the east, you see a road leading north. I'm going to leave the clearing. Alright, and let's look at the road north. Yeah, we're just going to ignore most of the village. You're at the closed road northern gate. The neglected road is partially overgrown. You hear a river in the east, separated by lush meadow filled with crickets and rodents. Let's take a closer look at the gate. Why not? Push or pulled, it doesn't move an inch. Someone has spread dirt and rocks both underneath it and around it, seemingly to keep plants stuck in the ground. Alright, well. So so I'm not in the village, so I'm just going to ignore it. Stop and touch your aching stomach. Man, I'm not doing good. I'm going to head to the river. Okay. You see a quenching family of boars. Some of them are brown, some are black. You consider turning back, but they pay you little attention. After a couple of grunts, they run north. The river is not too wide, yet unusually deep, with the banks altered by the locals for decades, if not centuries. The water is cold and clean, yet filled with the long plants growing from the bottom. You would rather avoid jumping inside or drinking from it, but you're tempted to at least wash your face, neck, and hands. Dozens, if not hundreds of small fish are looking for tasty leaves, but also try to avoid the predators. A dance of life completely unaware of your presence. You suddenly realize there's something else buried along the kelp. A rusty sickle sticking out of the ground, a couple of stone axes, moss, but you recognize their shapes. Why would someone drop them here? On the opposite bank, the meadow turns into a thick forest impenetrable for a rider. Guess I'm turning back. Alright, so Let's wash myself in the river. Alright, so the living stream filled with fish and plants won't help you much. The Outta ash soap you own could help you get cleaner. I'm gonna wash my shell. Cool. Alright, the kelp forest reaches the water surface. Surrounded by little creatures and the smell of rubber plants, you crouch by the bank and draw handfuls of water. Put on my clothes. Alright, stop and touch your aching... let's see... Groups and places. According to the scavenger, they're somewhere in the north, in some sort of hideout. I stuck to the western road and no soul bot. Okay. Alright, well, let's see. How long do we have? We've still got 10 hours before dusk. So, I've already washed myself, and I don't stand out from the crowd. I won't get much cleaner without a proper bath. Okay. So, let's see. Let's go ahead and travel then, and we'll come back. We're going to go over this way, further to the left. You enter the wetlands. With their many streams, ponds, and fish. Large birds run and fly between the gray, sparse trees that are covered with moss, mushrooms, and critters. See how long? 30 minutes? Okay, that's good. For a human, it may be an unwelcoming and harsh realm, but the overwhelming swarms of insects prove that it's a realm full of life. The danger with teeth and claws is hidden below the water's surface. Whew, I'm gonna stay away from the banks. Okay. Where are we at here? 9 hours before dusk. Okay. Alright, this plant shouldn't be alive. Not without leaves. It doesn't resemble the other trees of the wetlands, it's something else. You get off your horse and prepare your axe. The water is filled with dirt and dead plants, and it seems like an old corpse. The roots are spreading far, breaking through the water's surface. That's interesting. You don't see any saurians in the grass or on the shore. You approach the table-like altar made of 3 limestone slabs, where these rocks where the rocks originally as formless as they are now, or was there a point in time centuries ago when they were precisely shaped and decorated by masters of artistry? There's no way to tell. Total dingus is peacefully observing the dark grass and slapping flies with his tail. Whatever it is you feel in the air, it's clear that your companion sees this place through very different eyes. So, look, I'm using total dingus as kind of my measuring rod for how safe a place is right now. Smile and scratch the bottom of his neck. Alright, so, okay. Let's check, because the tree is very concerning, and this could be a very ritualistic place. It could be that total dingus will be safe, but I won't be. So let's ask the right for a vigilant eye and a bright soul. Bow your head, trying to imagine an appropriate ritual. Whenever you start a thought, it runs away. The sound of insects, visions of predators, smells of the muddy water. You rub your hands, focusing on what's in your grasp, collecting your wits slowly. It takes a few moments, but you start breathing without sensing the stench. You arrange all the chaotic images into a cohesive utterance. Your prayer is brief, but once it's done, you feel prepared. I'm worried about the altar. All bad stuff is tied to pagan altars. There's clumped dirt and uneven nicks fused by years of winds and rains. The bottom surface of the table is dusty, but you don't find any spiderwebs or mold, even though it's a perfect spot for them. The tree roots cling to the altar in many spots. I can see them right there. The detail, even though this is a very pixelated game, the detail that they put into these images is really nice. Where was I? Tree roots cling to the spots. They're firmly attached. You struggle to move them even by an inch. The cream-colored limestone is cold and smooth. Bad stuff is tied to pagan altars. I try to make an offering. What is your sacrifice? Ooh. Let's see what I got. Merchandise. Winged hourglass is a pendant from a leather strap. It's common to wear such jewelry to demonstrate one's allegiance with the right. Gotcha. Oof. Okay. I guess we'll do food. Place any type of food you can find in your sack of nearby plants, but none of them seem to make any difference. Nah, I'm gonna walk away. Do I still have? Okay, good. I still have. I'm gonna look into the water. Step cautiously without knowing how deep it gets. You have to consider that a saurian could be camouflaged in the mud, waiting for a victim to get near. Since you don't plan to kneel down and drink, you're hoping to dodge a potential strike. Once you get closer, you start to breathe again. When the water is dirty, it's also shallow. You see vegetation, swimming insects, and even small fish. All of them stay away from the tree roots. Ooh. That's got me worried, which look like spider web covering the bottom of the pond. Aside from that, you don't see anything that would catch your attention. Cautiously take a closer look at the roots. You kneel in front of one that's laying on the shore. It's brown, covered with hair that resembles that on your arm. When you touch it, it's moist, soft, and warmer than you'd expect. I do something with it. What do I want to try to do? I'm gonna try to lick it. Like I said, like it doesn't. The root is soft and it doesn't resist your touch. Its smell is not that far off from the stench of the water from which it sticks out. You feel its warmth, or maybe it's just a trick of your imagination. After a couple of moments, your lips start to itch. Oh, crap! I do something else. Chop. Pull out your axe and then stop in place. You can't tell what the results of wounding the tree would be. I make the cut. You stand above the root like you're about to split firewood. The swing is accurate, but the nimble root backs down into the water, pulled by the rest of the creature, leaving a trail of red bubbles and mud. Why did I lick it? Okay. Alright, a chunk of the root is still in your fingers, so you move into a jar from your bundles. The axe is now covered with a red, sticky goo, smelling like rusty nails and sweet fruits mixed with beer. What the heck? It's like blood and sap mixed together. You reach for a water skin and wash the blade from the plant's juices. I'm gonna walk away. You don't see any creatures or humans. Alright, well, let's keep traveling then. We're gonna go down right now because I am not prepared for a battle with bandits. The shapes of the mountains are cutting through the horizon. The water gets gradually less muddy. The cleaner it gets, the more animals you see. A family of deer blocks the road, resting and enjoying the cold water, which would be deadly for human stomach. Oh, hey, did I get that root? A weird root. A jar with a chunk you cut away from the tree growing at the altar. Okay. Family of deer blocks the road, resting and enjoying the cold water, which would be deadly for a human stomach. You consider riding around them through the sparse meadow, but your presence also causes them disquiet. Without much haste, they regroup and run east to the leafy forest. I travel forward. Okay. Just a peaceful little moment. I need to find fresh water soon. You've reached Hag Hills. The wall of stones has blocked the city's grasp. The one well-established route through them leads through the valley where you found Tullia's camp. There are no maps of highlands nor local tribes, only stories. I wonder if I could put the root on the tree. Anyways, I get to that in a little bit, maybe. The beaten path leads you by the garden beds of herbs and vegetables to an old yet not abandoned mine hidden behind a massive door made of steel. I look around, there's no hitching rail for a mount. A bearded, skinny elder sits still on a bench, observing you like a sculpture, with his legs crossed and fingers interlocked on his abdomen. I have no reason to be hopeless, so let's be friendly right now. I feel like being friendly. Good day to you. Don't worry about my horse. I'll keep it away from your garden. Only worms, too stupid to understand me, would eat what's mine. You dismount and mention that your palfrey is no worm, but the man reprimands you with a thick accent. Let me see what you speak. I cannot hear without magic, but I'll read your lips. He doesn't yell, but his voice reminds you of a combat instructor from the city. Ooh, probably an old military guy. His face is wrinkled, but he sits straight with a beard and hair carrying glimpse of fair blonde. He's tanned like a worker, and his eyes are blue and piercing, as if they belong to an infant. You're not from here, and I will no welcome a stranger in this refuge. Say what you're looking for, and begone. My education could be of use here. I've read about people like him in the right stables. You ponder about his unusual vigor in the unguarded garden. He may be a spiritual leader of a pagan community, most likely a spellcaster. Druids try to protect others from nature's wrath by teaching them to respect the laws of balance and restraint. Different tribes develop their own traditions, but you know that in this province, such priests prefer to be addressed as force speakers. I explain who I am. We're going to call him Sir. Alright, so he stares off across the garden beds, forcing you to wait in silence. The elder is tall, with long hair and a beard that was let loose a long time ago. His sandals are covered in dust, and you spot dirt on his clothes and skin. The woolen tunic and linen were made with care, decorated with colorful threads and collar and sleeves. Now all the blues and greens have faded, and the fabric is held together by patches and stitches. His hands are still folded, and his voice remains firm. You do not know our customs. Your name, your trade, your calling mean nothing to the forest. I do not know what you expected to find here, but this is no place for strangers. I wait for him to look at me. The man stands up and approaches your palfrey. Without touching it, he observes its eyes, mane, stomach, and rear. Total dingus ignores this examination. My nose was right then. Asterion is dead, as are his plans. Such is the fate of all dreamers. He turns toward you with a grim look. Are you going to look for him? I nod. Why, if he's vanished into the fogs, there's no point in putting yourself in danger. What do you expect to find? Let's see. What's the reason? What reason do I have? I need to, I need to know what kind of danger he encountered, or... I'm thinking one of these top three, but I want to know what kind of danger he encountered. He observed you carefully. Do you plan to get rid of this danger, or maybe to learn from Asterian mistakes? Or are you still thinking about leaving this land for good? He starts to chuckle. Only the right questions will bring you answers. With lively steps, he heads towards the spring. He washes his hands once again, forcing you to wait. Old people need time to gather their thoughts. He tries to dictate the pace of the conversation and put me in my place. His voice is cold and confident. So what do you need? So do I want to buy something from him? Is it time? It is not time yet, but I may ask him in a little bit. Yeah, let's know about what happened to the village in the east. And I'm willing to tell you that. He raises his chin, his head shakes. That shameful tale ought to be kept in the past. For the sake of the living. And I'm not willing to tell you that. Alright, let's see. Let's see, do we ask about the bandits? I'm gonna call him Cappy for captain. You do not understand the sound of the forest. You're as deaf as these rocks. You want to build bridges, but for you they are just structures, owned and used by humans. Prove that you're ready to learn our customs, and the bridge will grow on its own. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, they want to be addressed as forest speakers. Aha! Speaker. Okay. One R. Okay, so that's just for me being a homeschooler that's terrible at spelling. Forest speaker, he nods. The voice of the forest guards the soul carriers. Those who bow to the trees will not suffer from wild creatures. He smiles, looking at you with sky-like eyes. You have made the decision to learn our customs, and I appreciate it. 'Tis not my goal to turn people into strangers. Have you met Asterion? He wanders around the garden beds from time to time, touching the leaves in hand. He was here more than once. He was no one of the stand aside and let events play out by themselves. Villagers from the north are sometimes in need of my assistance, and Asterion was serving them as a messenger. Okay, so village to the north. I'm guessing the north from where we are right now will know where he is. Bends down and tears away a small flowerless plant. You wanted to settle down among these roads, maybe to live freely. You had great plans and wanted to make them flourish, to rebuild the ruins, get rid of the brigands, and clear the trade route. I told him the forest needs no more people, and that this realm is too wild to feed and clothe everyone. His greed and dreams have eaten him, and now he is no more. He pauses, and you can hear his heavy breathing, as if he's getting tired. He straightens up. And that's that, traveler. If you want to look for his shell, travel north, far north. People there should know his. I'll do that. I don't necessarily... What can you tell me about the peninsula? I've lived here for almost a century. Traveled both paths of the will... Oh, gosh. Makes you think of a bard, but I will not be your guide or teacher if there's anything you wish. 'Tis that you will stay away from the woods. Ooh, the creatures get angrier the more we take from them. Alright, Ferngully, I hear you. Alright, so they do more or less in one day to bury us under a storm from its fangs. No beating a soul. Okay. Making a look at a priest. Dare, do not poke around the hornet's nest. Do not ride east. And never use the path that runs through the heart of this land. Oh. That road was meant to save time, but brings only death. Interesting. Be a servant, not an overseer. Okay, do not try to bend this place to your will. He points to you and wags his finger at every word. Your will, anyone's will, is the key to danger, not salvation. I'm going to thank him even if I don't follow his instruction. Journal updated. Cool. How about quests? No completed quests. Explore the peninsula. I need to leave the peninsula on the 40th day of my journey or sooner. Gotcha, okay. Well, I'm guessing I can come back. So let's go ahead and travel. I'm going to travel a little north then. You slow down among the shrubs, and this is going to be where I'm going to end up calling it in just a moment. All right, so you slow down. Among the shrubs, a small pack of dragonlings is feasting on the carcasses of a gray auroch. One of them, red feathers on its arms, straightens up and gives you a curious glance. Its head tilts left and right, forward and back. It screeches at you, but does not move forward, and it returns to its meal. I wonder what would happen if you were on foot. Would they let you be satisfied? Would they let you be satisfied with their prey, or would they run after you? But if so, for what reason? For now, you have enough space to move forward, yet stay safe. Powerful jaws break into the monster's bones loudly, then bite off and swallow chunks of meat. I ride forward, but I'm keeping my distance. Well, I thought that was where I was going to stop. Okay, nice. Alright, so the beaten road serves your palfrey well. Where am I? 7 hours and 45 minutes before dusk. Okay. So really, I'm making half-decent progress right now, because I'm just exploring a whole bunch of land. The forest to your left becomes sparse and brighter, and there are dozens of human-made paths along the fruit-bearing trees. On your right, there's a large pasture. I'm still good on food. Excuse me. Dozens of dolphins. Two of them already sheared, look comically small. Soon after that, you ride alongside the vast, preparing itself patiently for the second harvest. Path ends with a massive wooden gate, the stone wall separating from the glow of lights behind it. It isn't as tall as a roost, but you can't imagine climbing to its top. There are pretty much no cracks. No missing bricks, a sign of many hours of labor, especially considering how massive the settlement is. As wide as a city district. The birds and monkeys are now just a distant echo, replaced with the sounds of carts, running hammers, saws, laughter, and shouts. Finally, maybe I can rest here. I feel good in a bigger place. A young man is leaning against a closed gate, covered by its shadow. He's young, tanned, and has a short, elegantly trimmed red beard. Beneath the green gambeson, he wears an expensive Sorry, y'all, that slide got me. Tunic decorated with colorful trim. From his arm hangs a steel helmet, though the metal is so thin that it's mostly made of wool and leather. He moves into the light and takes the posture of a disciplined soldier, not a mercenary. He's standing upright with his chin up. There are two weapons on the ground, leaning on the wooden beams of the gate, an axe made of steel and a wooden club. He doesn't reach for either. You dismount smoothly, still having some vigor left. Total Dangus holds his tail high. A narrow path leads to the north. Two field workers, one with a hoe and the other with a pitchfork. Look, we don't need to know what the first guy is doing with his spare time, okay? What happens in his bedroom is his own business. You can't see their faces, but their clothes are simple, gray pants and vests made from hemp. Again, we don't need to know what he's smoking in his free time, and wool. I wave back. Why not? They talk for a little bit towards you, pointing at your mount, then walk away, disappearing behind the wall's corner. Guard smiles, yet avoids your eyes, and has to clear his throat before he speaks. Welcome, traveler. If you're not here to make trouble, where we're at, Howler's Dell welcomes you. We have the whitest flower there is. When he bows, you realize it's a well-practiced performance. If it's new garments you're looking for, you can order everything you need right here. In all colors, shapes, and sizes, capes, boots, vests, robes. Or, if you're a master looking for the needle, I can assure you we have the fabric you're looking for. His act is over, and he glances at your mount in a moment of silence. His eyes get wider as he observes it with childlike fascination. I'm not comfortable with anybody touching Total Dingus until I've gotten to know them. So I'm going to introduce myself, Jelp the Dunker. A city folk, eh? The mayor is busy, but I'll ask her. Give us a moment to let you in. He knocks at the gate, which is then pulled inwards by 2 guards, a man and a woman wearing their own gambesons, similarly green but tailor-made to match their figures. Good. So this is the nicest establishment that I've been to so far. The nearby buildings are simple houses made of wooden beams and covered with thatch, while some storehouses are even more modest, with a roof made of planks. The watchtower has a ladder made of rope sticks and no stairs. Just give me a moment. The guard strides away before he finishes the last word. The others come to close the gate behind you and observe your mount carefully. Your eyes run east to a humming creek running through the center of the village. I wait for the return of the messenger. Calming sound, eh? That's Howler's Creek. The guard, like most of the locals, is taller than you, wide but shallow. There's been, wide but shallow. There's not been a flood in years. Pa told me there used to be no bridges. Neighbors crossed it with their boots in their hands. And 'tis clean, like a raindrop, but there are not many fish. We're the cleanest village in the north. Her companion chuckles brightly. Oh, okay. When the guard returns, he's still alone. She gonna come now? A friend of mine is in labor, eh? The mayor wants to be there when the child arrives, but I was asked to show you the village. I nod fine, and I am gonna be they are way too fascinated by Total Dingus. So I'm starting to get a little worried. He approaches the watchtower. Tie your mount here. We'll keep the kids away. Most of the neighbors are getting ready to celebrate. What are you celebrating? Once you're done, he grabs a rope ladder. The view from up there is gorgeous. Once. I'm gonna climb and think of my knife. Even though the ladder swings in all directions, the guards gets to the top quickly, like a monkey climbing up creepers. You, on the other hand, need to stop and wait for the ladder to calm itself. When you join the man on the wooden platform, you're a bit dizzy. He's leaning on the wooden parapet, observing the area with a smile, with no weapon in sight. Now look around. Oh, okay. See? There's no place like Howler's Den. The guard points in every direction, giving you no time to contemplate. For the next few minutes, he describes the fields and their crops, the flocks and the pastures, the shepherds inspecting the fences, the ancient garden of the trees and bushes larger than the village itself, the sunlight dancing on the stream of its own tune. If you are able to believe everything he describes, this place has access to everything in abundance. The sweetest honey, the most fragrant bread, the softest wool, and the beer. 'Tis excellent. Sounds like the city merchant who's trying to sell an old house. No wonder he's so proud. Why couldn't he be? They've tamed this scrap of land. Yeah, man, there's no reason to be all ticked off at him. This inlet it connects both parts of the village. According to the man, the northern gate is hardly ever open as it leads nowhere now. Near the eastern gate, there is the Ape Ale Inn, where you can find a bed and victuals. And there's a stall where the Akakios rewards our work. I'ma look that word up. It is not here. Okay. With pointless talk. Okay. It doesn't matter then. On the opposite side of the creek, there's another white house. It belongs to Bion, best clothier in the north. Priest lives in the southeast near the wall. but they do not like to talk to strangers. You also hear about the hunter, the cooper, the fisher, the miller, the pie... learning literally everything. The pie maker lives with his sister, the baker. Wow, okay, so we're literally learning everything. Some of the larger buildings could accommodate 2, maybe even 3 generations at once. If I was a bandit, man, you're giving me the outline of everything I need, which makes me very concerned. You've already done that, and we're gonna get attacked tonight. Consider stopping his speech, but he suddenly points at the islet again. There, see? The mayor's coming. The one wearing the purple. You're free to join her, traveler. I nod and climb down. You try to get down quickly, but 2 steps are enough to make you sure that it's a bad idea. You wait for the ladder to find its balance. You're relieved when you touch the ground again. You untie your palfrey and follow the guard. You pass a small pasturage surrounded by a wooden fence, a few loose chickens. Okay, so they have food. And a tethered boar, so I'm not worried about them killing and eating total dingus. The fancier buildings are covered with whitewash coating and surrounded with vegetables, herbs, and flowers. Bridges are wide enough to carry even a wagon, but for total dingus, walking on the wooden beams is far from pleasant. The islet is empty, but you notice a small, painted with the shapes of colorful flowers. Walk over the second bridge. Okay. This is a lot of stuff here, and I kind of want to wrap up because it's been an hour. So in just a moment, I will wrap it up for the moment. Our street goes in the center, dark water, surrounded by dark water, held together with a thin wall, perfect sitting. But the smell coming from the liquid makes you think of rotten eggs. The plant reminds you of the tree you saw in the south, next to the swamp altar. Interesting. Ooh, that's got me worried. Ooh. In the north, you see the Ape Ale Inn. Judging by the tables, stools, and benches outside of it, open for guests. The villagers chatting and dining loudly. Curious glances on the side of the dining area. Merchants are arguing. Old man is sitting by himself eating a pie. Young woman is cleaning the empty mugs. Look for a spot to tie total dingus. There's a wide wooden roof next to the gate, shelters, crates, and stacks. You move your mount next to a donkey to a beam placed here just for this purpose. Without a moment of hesitation, total dingus starts to chew on a nearby haystack. You have some time to make sure it doesn't struggle with your bundles. You return to the inn. I look for the mayor and approach her. She's sitting on a chair with a 4-year-old boy on her knees. Wow, that kid grew up fast. I'm sorry. She's holding his hand gently, showing him how to eat gruel from a bowl. It's not a cheap meal, though. You spot nuts, berries, and milk. Wow. And the added honey makes it yellowish. The kid is clean and quiet, and at once he notices your arrival. He crams his mouth full of a spoonful of oats. Now, love, the mayor titters. Do not get distracted. She rubs the meal off his face. A few more spoons and you'll go help Papa in the kitchen, eh? She gives you a radiant though apologetic smile and turns her attention back to her companion. Observe her more closely. Oh, dang, that's a lot of reading. But I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying this game a lot. You guys can let me know if you don't enjoy it, and I can just put it on Rumble, but I'm going to keep playing this game. Her long, full-sleeved linen dress must have been dyed once in blue and once in red to achieve its dark, fancy purple, which would draw looks even in Havlaven. From her left shoulder hangs a green woolen cape and a thin shawl. The brown belt around her waist has a large steel buckle that portrays a running deer with unrealistically large antlers grown in all directions like tree branches. Unlike her tribesfolk, she's pale, with powdered and rough cheeks, and her lips match her outfit, though they're a bit closer to wine red. The thick gray strands in her long blonde hair look more like a fashion choice than a result of aging. Her eyes and the color of her cape keen and vigorous. She's shorter than most of the people around, sorry, I just wanted to make sure, sometimes when it's been a bit since I've recorded, the audio gets all out of whack, and then I just waste an entire episode. And with an episode that's mostly reading, that's not an option. So shorter than most around. While she's around 40, her slim hands add fragility to her appearance, even though her posture is upright, her legs confidently crossed, and her delicate voice assertive. She makes plenty of gestures, but her shoulders hardly ever move. I'll wait as long as it takes. After a few more minutes, the boy lets out a gentle cough. After a pat on the back, the mayor puts him on the ground. You did a great job, love. But now I need to speak with our guest, darling. She addresses one of the workers, a girl close to 15. Take him to father, will you? Her tone suddenly gets firmer, leaving no hint of a question or a suggestion. Yes, ma'am. Okay, gotcha. Never mind. So, we have a Roadwarden again. Okay. Please sit down. She vaguely shows you the palm of her open hand, letting you pick any place you want. Since I'm her guest, I'll sit on the bench next to her. I'll sit next to her. I'm friendly. This place looks friendly so far. How we doing on time? 7 hours. Okay. The flowing water hits silently on the rocks and wooden stakes surrounding the aisle and splits into 2 steam beds. In Havlaven, the river is surrounded by tall walls protecting the banks from the deterioration, and the wall is seldom free of dirt. Here, the smell is as fresh as it would be in the woods. The mayor observes your outfit carefully, maintaining a polite, though cool smile. Once your eyes meet, she hardly ever looks away. I'm sure you're hungry. My husband will bring us something soon. I'm going to say I appreciate it. Thank you very much. But do not mention it. Hunger makes me peevish, and the day is too nice for that. She taps her chest and looks at a flock of birds that fly above you, loudly heading south. As we're waiting, be so good as to help me understand something. Even if you're but a mercenary, I cannot imagine a single reason for you to choose this realm for your wandering. Not so long as Asterian's disappearance. There's no glory for treasures to find up here. Her pale fingers form a tent on her stomach, then clasp, leaving the 4 fingers pointing at you. You were sent here by the merchants. They want the peninsula. I don't need to be these things. I don't feel jokey yet. I present Havlaven's interest as an opportunity. Introduce myself to touch on the more obvious sides of the potential deal with the guild and the city chief. The troops pay the patrols. They would establish over a few taxes. A trade route would bring new life to this place, you say with warmth. It's a win-win. Throughout your speech, the mayor observes you patiently, without interruptions. I see, she finally responds. As she observes your palfrey, she twists her deer buckle left and right. If it was that simple, I'd be eager to applaud. But it never is that simple, is it? She's smart. There's no fooling her. I need to keep that in mind. Her eyes fill up with melancholy despite her smile. I appreciate that you're coming with a carrot and not a stick. But when it comes to the guild, there's always a catch. Her accent is now almost identical to the one used in the city. Yeah, let's ask about her experience, and then I'm gonna take off for the day. So I'm gonna ask her if she's speaking from experience. Do I really sound that confident? She titters and waves her hands by her chin, as if you just offered her a compliment. I've seen such negotiations during my studies, though I can't say I took an active part in them. Let me show you an example. Excuse me. She theatrically clears her throat, patting her chest with one hand, covering her mouth with another, then leans forward and rests on her elbows, allowing her hands to freely make gestures. You make a deal with a settlement, flour and wool in exchange for a coin and tools. You send the first traders, and they imply that you're ready to pay more for, let's say, parchment. Months later, you want no more rye, just the parchment and wool. We cannot butcher any more Malflans, the locals say. Don't worry, you answer. We'll send you a small flock. Just turn one of your fields into a pasturage. As she pretends to speak as different characters, her voice comically shifts, and she has no issue switching between accents, unlike some of us present. I encourage with I'm gonna stick with the friendly right now. She swings her hand above the table. Now the year goes by, and while there's more parchment, the village lacks some crops. The tribe needs not just tools and coins, plenty of coins, but also seeds, and the guild is not satisfied.
Sending our wagons costs a lot, and there are more highwaymen now. If you want us to come again, you need more mouthlands and to sell us the cheese. And guess what? With a haunting laugh, she straightens up and spreads her arms like someone a third her age. Turns out the village can't say no anymore. They lack supplies, seeds, and land they can't refuse.
Yeah, I'm going to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. Yeah, pause doesn't linger for long.
I see we understand each other. Let me finish the introductions. I'm Thias, one of the keepers of the Ape Ale Inn and the mayor of Howler's Den. I assume it would be convenient for you to take my answer back to Havlavin.
She wonders for a moment.
When could we expect the first caravan after winter?
Depends on what you can sell and what you want in return. While the conversation goes on, the food gets served. The refreshing aroma of roasted mutton. Ooh, they eat good here. Covered with a thick sauce made of mince. Daggum, if I was hungry, I'm not now. There's also a small bowl filled with chopped red radishes and a sliced boiled egg. Nice! Wow. It's all brought by a few young people, all of them referring to the mayor as their mother, and in the end, the innkeeper himself shows up to wish you a good meal. He's wearing a clean, organic tunic and a not-so-clean apron made of hemp. Good lord, these people and their hemp. No wonder they're all so chill, though. I wonder if Nathan from Brante lives here now. He politely, you know what? He might be the priest. The priest that doesn't want to talk to anyone because he's just smoking weed all the time. He politely introduces himself as Eric's, and after coming to you, and after confirming you won't get sick from what he prepared, he leaves you and his wife to your conversation. Thias tears the meat into smaller pieces, then eats slowly, often expressing her enjoyment with a hum. Meanwhile, we get to the important stuff. Sounds like the nearby ground is fertile. The village would gladly pay its taxes in grains and vegetables, with the expectation that the squad of soldiers would provide additional protection. Our youth is strong, she claims proudly, so we don't need your guards on our walls. But a lone Roadwarden won't keep the roads passable. We need fighters willing to patrol the pass, maybe even the heart of the woods. That's what we'd expect in return. Okay. Oh, you know what? That's fair. You're not an expert when it comes to linen, cheese, and wool, so the mayor spends a good couple of minutes describing the outstanding quality. Back to this again. Vaguely recognize the name of this tailor shoemaker, but you never earned enough to pay him for even so much as a single sleeve. And of course, we'll never reject some steel and bronze. We lack alloys for sickles and scythes. She then repeats her question, staring at the trade route. Truth be told, the guild is not sure what the peninsula has to offer. It's going to take more than your village to convince them. Understandable. Ooh, some options. But you won't find much in the other tribes. They have barely enough to survive, even after the trade from our crops. For we have the only decent soils in this realm. At least the people of Gale Rocks have salt in their barrels of fish. Okay. Well, Creeks sells meat and wood. Actually, if you haven't been to the Creeks yet, the farthest village in the northeast, you could give them a chance. She nods with a smile. They could use your help with keeping their roads safe. White marshes, on the other hand, as well as old Pagos, are close to worthless. For a trade route, that is. She clears her throat. After these words, she stands up, walks to another table, and offers her trencher to an elderly man who sits there by himself. With a trembling voice, he thanks her, then starts to chew on the soggy bread. She sits down, wipes her hands into a clean cloth, adjusts the folds of her cape, and once again crosses her legs. So tell me, Job the Dunker, how's Havlavin? I haven't gathered much news since the invasion. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. Not everyone has their own bed, but new generation is ready to start its own fight. It's far from great. Children lost their parents during the war. Am I building the story? All right, I'm gonna stay bright and cheery. Things are humble, but are starting to look brighter. That's a good place to start. I was hoping to hear that. Her smile with kind. Yeah. Ooh, okay, we need to look for Asterion. So I'm going to skip through this, find out something about Asterion. I'm going to ask a lot of questions, actually. Actually, I'm going to stop here, because this is a good spot to stop. Her smile fades away, and she speaks without looking in your direction, gives you a moment to rest. First time I crossed the city walls, I saw the streets. My soul saw them as they were made of dragon bones, not stone. And there's people, and the noise, and the high houses, and this life happening all around me. But after only 2 years, everything collapsed for the first time in human memory, like a burning dollhouse. She pauses and rests her hands on her stomach and turns back to you. But don't let me drag you away from your duties. How can I help you? Jelp the Dunker. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we are going to save and come back from now. So thank you guys very much for tuning in, and I'll see you later, homies. Peace out! I did not have enough breath for that.